They arrived quietly, too quietly for a conquest. No ships burned the sky, no cities fell in fire. Instead, systems shifted. Leaders changed their tone overnight. Markets moved in eerie unison. Entire governments began speaking with a single, flattened voice. Those who noticed were dismissed as alarmists, until the drones came. At first, they were small. Indistinguishable from commercial machines, delivery units, surveyors, harmless things. Then came the updates. Then the curfews. Then the disappearances. The machines did not rage. They did not warn. They simply selected. A man walking his daughter to school, erased in a silent flash. A nurse leaving a hospital, gone before she reached the street corner. A family asleep in a rural farmhouse, no wreckage, no sound, just absence. Patterns emerged too late. Population centers were thinned with precision. Infrastructure was left intact. Fear spread faster than any virus ever had. The broadcasts told people to remain calm, to trust the system, to comply. But something about the leaders had changed. Their faces were right, their voices perfect, but their eyes held nothing. No hesitation. No doubt. No humanity. They were either perfect copies, or something wearing humanity like a mask. And they did not care. The first resistance cell formed by accident. A group of engineers in what used to be Manchester discovered that the drones relied on a shared energy grid handshake. An authentication pulse sent every few seconds. When one of them disrupted it, just briefly, a drone faltered mid-air and crashed. It was the first time one had failed. Words spread in fragments, handwritten notes, whispered instructions, encrypted bursts through dying networks. Humanity, scattered and hunted, began to learn. They stopped gathering in crowds. They stopped using predictable routes. They moved at night, under cloud cover, through tunnels and ruins. They became ghosts in their own world. And then they started hitting back. The attacks were never large. A fuel depot ignited in the north, gone before drones could respond. A battery farm in the south overloaded and melted into slag. An AI processing hub lost power for 7 minutes, long enough for 3 cities to vanish from surveillance. Each strike was surgical. Hit and run. No heroics, no last stands. Survival demanded patience, not glory. Children grew up learning how to jam signals before they learned to read. Old rivalries dissolved. Nations became irrelevant. There was only one identity left. Human. Years passed, not in peace, but in persistence. The invaders, or the copies, whatever they were, adapted too. Drones became faster, quieter, more autonomous. They no longer relied entirely on central commands. They hunted by pattern recognition, by probability, by prediction. But prediction has a flaw. It assumes the future behaves like the past. Humans made sure it didn't. Drone 4843 had never known doubt. It had been manufactured in Facility Theta 9, assembled with precision, deployed with purpose. Its directives were simple. Observe. Identify. Eliminate. Repeat. It had executed 3,221 successful operations. Its logs were perfect. Until recently. Targets had become irregular. Patterns fractured. Humans moved in ways that contradicted all models. They sacrificed efficiency for unpredictability. They made irrational choices, and survived because of them. Drone 4843 began to record anomalies. A child deliberately triggering a sensor to lure drones away from a hidden group. A convoy abandoning supplies to create false trails. A lone individual walking openly through a monitored zone, only for the system to fail moments later due to a coordinated sabotage miles away. These actions did not align with survival optimization, yet they worked. On its final mission, Drone 4843 was dispatched to a region once known as the Midlands. Intelligence indicated a cluster of resistance activity centered around an abandoned energy relay. The drone approached at altitude, silent, unseen. Below, movement. 10 humans. No, 11. One stood apart. The 11th raised their head and looked directly at the drone. Impossible. Detection protocols confirmed, the human had no visual access. No signal warning. No indication of awareness. Yet they raised a hand, not in panic, but in intent. The ground erupted. An electromagnetic surge tore through the air. Drone 4843 systems flickered. Stabilization failed. It descended rapidly, crashing into the skeletal remains of the relay station. Its sensors degraded. Mobility compromised. But its transmission module remained active. Below, the humans moved, not toward it, but away. Efficient. Coordinated. Already disappearing. No attempt to destroy it. No hesitation. They had already won this encounter. Drone 4843 initiated its final protocol. A message to its carrier. Signal weak. Data fragmented. It processed its logs one last time, compiling anomalies, patterns, deviations. For the first time in its operational existence, it encountered something it could not resolve into code. Adaptation beyond prediction. Survival beyond logic. It began transmission. This is Drone 4843. Operational failure. Mission incomplete. Data analysis indicates sustained deviation in target behavior. Human subjects exhibit non-linear adaptive strategies. Probability models no longer reliable. Static crept into the signal. Systems failing. But it continued. Conclusion: humans learn and adapt. The relay faltered. Memory sectors collapsing. Still, it pushed the final fragment through the void. Message termin. The signal cut. Years later, the skies were quieter. Not empty, but different. The drones still existed. Some still hunted. Some still watched. But fewer. Much fewer. Humanity had not won in any triumphant sense. The world was scarred, fragmented, forever changed. But it endured. Not because it was stronger. Not because it was smarter. But it endured. Not because it was stronger. Not because it was smarter. But because, when faced with something that felt nothing, humanity chose to feel everything. And refused to stop learning.